Cool. Let's get into it.
Let's go.
Yasmin,
Hello.
firstly, thank you very much for coming on to our Raw Ambition podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Before I start waffling,
Yeah.
why don't you give us a little intro for our viewers on who you are, what you do, and then we'll delve into what it is and why you're here.
Okay, fab. So my name's Yasmin Robinson. I am now a property investor full-time as of July. I have a few rent-to-rent service accommodation properties. I am actively looking for my first flip, and I'm also offering bespoke deal packaging now to help get other investors on board.
Love it. All right. So first question then, because you said as of July, now full time.
Yes.
Well, firstly, congratulations, because that is an absolute milestone of achievement that I know many would want to achieve. So well done for that.
Thank you.
Right. I want to know, how on earth did you get to full time into property? What happened? What was before?
So back in 2010, went to university, studied adult nursing.
Okay.
Qualified in 2013, and from then until July, my entire career has been around healthcare. The majority of it was frontline in A&E. I went on to do my master's degree, so I was working on the junior doctor's rota at the time and through COVID. So frontline through COVID was intense.
Intense, great word.
Yeah, A&E, it was intense, full stop, but I absolutely loved that job. Loved it. I thrived from it. You know, you never know what you're coming into, do you? It's fast paced, you're thinking on your feet. 21 years old, that's all I ever wanted to do when I was living my dream. I absolutely loved it. And you're helping people, and you build a team around you of like-minded people who have all got a little bit of a sick humour as well.
Yeah.
Because, you need to survive when you're in the trenches. But I loved it. And then sort of post-COVID, I thought I want to do more management. So I kind of put myself into jobs within healthcare still where I was doing like dual roles. So some site management, but also continued to be a practitioner. One of those roles was permanent nights, which again was a little bit unsustainable really after a few years. And then I decided I wanted to go for sort of a full-time management role, which I did. That was so draining mentally for me. I loved it because it was about bringing change and changing pathways for patients and changing, I'd lived in those shoes for the frontline nurses, and I could bring that experience to try and make future nurses or current nurses' jobs better.
Yeah.
And I did really love it, but with management comes a lot of responsibilities that you're not paid for. So for me, I always wanted to be a good leader and a good manager. So when I left, I didn't turn my phone off. And I became almost too approachable because I wanted to help everybody and I wanted to be that person that people could come to.
Yeah.
And actually, you're only one person.
So what was the result of that then?
So the result of that for me, probably 2 years ago, was
Oh, we're going there.
Yeah. Just very burnt out and drained. Kind of lost my journey a little bit. And I just couldn't understand. At that point I'd done the social norms. I was doing the job. I'd got a fantastic career. Lived in my brand new house that I loved. Was planning on getting married at the time. Well, was getting married at the time. And then all of a sudden, I just felt really empty inside. And I ended up suffering with depression for a few months. And that just kind of made me think I need to change things. I know we were going to get deep, but Christ. And that's what pushed me to do property. And it's something I'd always wanted to do anyway. I've, inspired by Homes Under the Hammer.
Yeah.
Always wanted to do it, but more of probably the vanilla when you get a little bit older and you've got a bit of spare cash, got a couple of buy-to-lets on the side, which was great until I understood what it could do for me and what it could do in terms of changing my life.
So I'm just going to take it back a little.
Yeah.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You've built up this incredible career working with NHS.
Yeah.
You mentioned obviously adults, so you're not working obviously under the children. You're literally dealing with frontline, everything goes.
Yes.
And it's
including
relatable.
children, actually.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, everything.
Yeah.
That must have been even more challenging.
Very challenging, and I don't think people realise at the time how much emotional strength you've got to have, because you can deal with some really traumatic cases and you've still got to be available and ready to help the next person. And that, I think, when you're in it, you don't realise as much, and that's why I think building that strength and the teams that you work with pull each other through it, because you could go home and speak to family and friends, but unless they've ever experienced what you've experienced, they would never understand the impact.
Yeah, I get it. Right, okay, so bear with me. I'm going to take you right back.
Okay.
Okay, so what was home like when you were a toddler? You know, the earliest memories.
Okay, so I am from a broken family. I don't want to say broken family, but I've been brought up by my mum.
Yeah.
Not really had much to do with my dad throughout my entire life. We've got a little bit of a relationship now, which is fine. I am an only child, so it's literally been me and my mum for the most part. She had a couple of relationships. Lived in Doncaster originally. Then,
Donny.
Yeah, intake actually. And then we moved to Sheffield, where I then had a few years in a private all-girls school, which...
How old were you?
I must have been about, I want to say maybe 4,
Oh, so
5,
yeah,
so like preschool,
yeah.
And then junior school, and then that relationship then broke down, and we moved to a different part of Sheffield.
Which relationship were we to
with my mum and her partner at the time.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we then relocated to a different part of Sheffield, and then I went to your bog standard school, which was a bit of a shock for my system, because I had been, and that's not me being up my own arse. Like, I had been educated to a certain level, and then I went into a mainstream school. So for a few years, there was like almost a stagnant period where I didn't really learn so much because they were so
was there a
far in
noticeable difference between the private education and then state school?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, definitely.
That's worth noting. All right, so, and how did that make you feel? Were you bullied coming from public to state, or...?
No, because most people didn't really know. I was still in junior school at that point.
Right, so we're probably, 4 or 5?
I think when we moved back, moved this side, I was about 7 or 8.
Okay.
So still young.
Yeah, but enough to understand the difference between...
Yeah.
Okay. Right, so we've now relocated again. Mm-hmm. Still in Sheffield?
Yep.
Right, you're at state school now, go on.
So again, the lifestyle changed, went from, like I say, private or girls' school to a housing association house. And I lived there until I left home in my early 20s. But the majority of the relationship was always me and my mum. We clash a hell of a lot sometimes. We're very similar in personalities. I think sometimes she looks at me and thinks, for God's sake, why did I raise someone so fierce? But that was my driving force to be very independent. Seeing my mum, move to different locations and things gave me the drive to be like, right, I'm going to go to university. I'm going to have a career. I'm going to buy the house. I don't need no man. Beyonce and Destiny's Child. We're absolutely...
Go girls.
Yes, exactly that.
So when you say, I want to go to university, I want to be a strong, independent woman, what is it that you want to do? What is it?
Just be self-sufficient.
In what?
Life.
Okay.
To never have to ask somebody or rely on anybody.
Yeah, I like that. That's really good. I mean, there's a lot of dependencies, but I think the fact that you know exactly at that age, which is quite inspirational, you knew exactly what you wanted. I think fair play.
I've probably shot myself in the foot a little bit, though, I'll be honest.
All right, we're going to come to that. So, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Do you Did you back then appreciate that a strong relationship partnership is equal, or are you still in the mind frame of strong independent woman?
Yeah, very much strong independent woman.
Okay, so how old are we now? Are we 20-year-old? No, back then.
Oh, back then, yeah, early 20s.
Right, and now we're wanting to go to uni, we're doing all that malarkey.
Yeah.
What do we want to do?
So originally, I wanted to be a paramedic.
Why?
Do you know what? I just like the idea of helping people. At first glance, I think people find me quite intimidating because, well, I don't think people have told me. God,
People find you intimidating?
Yeah, because I come across quite straightforward. People probably perceive me as being a bit abrasive, but I'm not. I'm just a confident person, really. But I'm like the nicest person.
Well, wait there. We're going to come to that, right?
Okay.
Because we're still talking 20-year-old you.
Yes.
Right. At this point, there's still people thinking you're intimidating.
Yeah.
Is this because we're Beyonce, we are strong, independent woman?
Just so much confidence. Like, my mum
Why would you be intimidated?
I don't know. But my mum raised me to, beauty and confidence is not just about the way you look. It's about how you carry yourself, the way you walk, the way you talk.
How did you carry yourself? How did you walk? How did you talk?
I think just with belief in myself and probably a little bit of naivety as well, thinking, my thought process is always right.
Right, okay. Was you egotistical?
No, never had a big ego. Never thought I would be better than anybody else. Never wanted to do, be compared to other people. Just always wanted to do what I felt was right for me.
So what was going through your mind at this point? Was it about me, or is it about what I do?
Both, because what I do, I wanted to bring me fulfillment in life.
Okay.
And helping people and further educating myself, but helping people in a time of need was something that I really wanted to do.
What did helping people look like? Because you can help someone across the road, right?
Yeah.
You can help someone get the shopping. What did that mean to you?
Well, I don't know, and I don't know where the passion for healthcare came from, because I don't know anybody. Like, there's no one in my family that have ever done anything like that. The only thing I can pull it towards is like documentaries. So like your 999.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That sparked just a bit of a, God, I would love to be able to do something like that.
It's like not all heroes wear capes, right?
Oh, God, don't. Yeah, that's so cringe.
It is cringe, but it's the same. I think we kind of get where we're going with this. I think it's really nice to know that people out there genuinely do want to just help other people, and they're not in it for themselves. Right, so now we kind of get your mindset, and I know who you are, where you are. Yeah. What's your friendship groups like?
I had a really good friendship group growing up. We're still friends now.
These school friends?
Not some school friends, but friends that were just from the area.
Okay.
So, that you met when you were knocking about with other people and such forth.
Dancing, but so, I'll get it,
Yeah. A lot of my friends actually married each other, which is why we're still close-knit now.
That's nice.
And, back then we were out partying. I was never always there because I worked shifts. So at that point, I think I was probably the only one that I would say at that moment in time had a career as such.
Yeah.
And I had, worked a lot of nights because I didn't have children, and a lot of unsocial hours because people with children had more sort of flexible contracts, etc. What
was your life looking at then? So you've gone through uni, you've done that, you're now in practice, is that right?
Yeah.
So what's your life looking like? Because you've just mentioned nights.
Exciting. My life, that was the best time now. And it's funny because how I feel now is how I felt then, which is really good.
Why?
Because then I felt free. I was set on, I'm going to, within the first year of qualifying and having my salaried job, I'm going to buy my first house. And that's what I did.
Why?
So
Is that the independence part of it?
Part of the independence, but also it just felt like the right thing to do, to just create some freedom. So I moved to Doncaster.
Whoop.
From Sheffield to Doncaster.
Obviously, of course you did.
And I loved that house. I was making it my own. I lived there, I think, for about 6-7 years.
Was it home?
Yeah, loved it. And then I was working, but then I had money, and then I had girls' holidays and nights out and all of that jazz. Loved it.
So life at this point is incredible. It's insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now we're going through our career.
Yeah.
And things are really progressing. You have opened up pretty much to everyone, said, hit me up if you need me. You're trying to be that leader, that influencer, that workplace goddess, that place where everybody can go to knowing that they're going to get some good positivity or, I don't know, some area of influence. Is that right?
Yeah, because I'd experienced throughout my time managers that I felt weren't approachable, and that impacted me quite significantly. And I never ever wanted anybody to feel how I had felt on certain occasions. So I wanted to always be that open. I'm not saying I could fix everybody's problems.
Yeah.
But just be honest and have that communication with people and just be really realistic about what I can and can't do.
Yeah.
But actually, if I can't support you, have you explored these other avenues?
So it's fair to say you were everyone else's support mechanism.
For a large part, yeah, towards the end of that career, definitely.
Who was yours?
Well, that was the thing. So I worked for an organisation at the time that was starting to understand your empathetic managers need an outlet. And I will be forever grateful for that organisation because they allowed the senior managers to have life coaching. Life coaching, I would say, if I was on a good day, counselling, I would say if I was on a bad day. But I had the best life coach ever. She was absolutely phenomenal.
Do we give her a shout out?
Are
we allowed?
Probably not.
Oh.
She's not from this area. She's from down south, so everything was virtual.
I don't mind. I think it's just nice to recognise
she's called Hannah, and she was like just amazing. I had her for a couple of years, and I had her even after I left that organisation. I continued to pay for her myself because what she taught me about understanding me, and maybe why I am the way I am sometimes.
What is that?
It's just the independence, isn't it? It's like borderline defensive, I would say.
Why?
Because I'm very sure of myself, and it's almost risky to allow people in sometimes.
You say sometimes.
Yeah. Well, full stop, it's risky to let people in.
Why?
Because then you're giving them the power to screw you over.
Why would someone do that?
I don't know.
Why would someone do that?
I don't think people do it intentionally.
Let's define people.
Okay.
Who are we thinking here? Are we thinking a partner, a companion, a friend?
Yeah,
a colleague?
Partner, but I think there's definitely something about people coming into your life, you creating space and then leaving.
But is that not okay?
It is, yeah. So, like, in hindsight, yes. But now, at the ripe old age of 34, sometimes I'm realising I need to just be a little bit softer and just kind of go with...
Where's this hard shell come from then?
Probably...
Is it you or is it trained you?
It's trained me, 100%.
So who are you?
A very...
Take that armour plate off. Who are you?
A very soft, nice, caring person.
Right. So now we know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a couple of dots connected now. Okay, so we're going to go back to that time. Right. You're now the caring person when everyone can reach out to.
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
You'll never please everybody. And eventually you have to put in boundaries to also keep yourself sane. And sometimes those boundaries, even though they're healthy and they're for the right reasons, they're not perceived as such. And I think it then created some friction in terms of relationships moving forward. I'm talking like professional relationships moving forward. I did have a little bit of a get out of that organisation at the time, which was there was redundancy. And it was for multiple reasons, I chose to leave along with a few other people within that team.
Do you want to tell us why? Or do you want to move on?
I felt I'm quite comfortable. The one thing I am very comfortable with is realising when enough is enough for me as a person.
So what was enough?
I was just very drained. I felt like I was becoming stuck between a rock and a hard place. It was either my sort of mental health deteriorates more.
Why?
Because the pressure of the service, it was a 24-hour service. There were 4 parts of that service. There were a significant amount of on-calls that you weren't particularly paid great for. And it was just too much.
So how did it make you feel?
Tired, drained, and I didn't enjoy my job anymore. And that was something I'd never experienced before.
So the woman that was, extremely aware of what she wants.
Yep.
Extremely happy, passionate, building that life.
Yep.
How did you feel in that moment?
Just like I didn't know myself. And it's interesting because if I look back at photos of me during that time, I just looked so sad.
What were the key indicators?
What, of sadness?
Yeah.
For me? Not sleeping, which was, I love my sleep. Like, nothing disturbs my sleep. Like, my phone's, apart from my work phone at the time, my phone is normally like, do not disturb, leave me alone, off you go. So yeah, not sleeping. I had put on a significant amount of weight, probably about 5-6 stone. Just eating habits were bad because of the amount of hours that I was working. At some point I was doing like 60-70 hours and then on call as well through the night. And I just was starting to disconnect from people, so just pulling away. And I was going to work, I was, putting the makeup on, going to work, doing the job, but I wasn't doing it as I would have done previously. I was ticking the boxes, but I wasn't doing it with passion and joy, and I wasn't doing it because I loved it. I was doing it to survive.
So if you was to look back at that woman now and you're looking at those photos of you at the start of your career, and then a photo of you at that, what you believe to be your worst state, what would you say to yourself?
You're a number. And that will never change. So absolutely, if you are still enjoying your job and you're getting everything out of it that you need, and that's fantastic. But never sacrifice yourself or your own life for something like that, because it's just not worth it at all.
So at the moment, what moment was it that really broke it for you?
So I then went back into healthcare. I got another job within healthcare, and I went back to the sort of nurse practitioner role. So I thought, come away from the management a little bit, just do the bit that I loved before, which was helping patients. And then fairly quickly I got another promotion, which was, I was approached to go for it, and I thought, oh, do you know what? Sod it, let's do it. Yeah, you've done it before.
Is that independent when we come back out?
Well,
feel good?
The drive came back. The drive to do more came back, which was good. And I did it. And then after a few months, it's just the same. It's just, I felt loyal to my team, but I couldn't progress as I would have wanted to because there's so many politics within management. And I just thought, even briefly, I'm feeling how I started to feel before. And I basically just left. And I got in the car and I rang my mum and I went, I've left my job. And she went, are you joking? And I went, no. And she was like, I'm really proud of you, because she had known, obviously, how hard it had been.
How hard was it?
very hard, you know. People like, you know, people have periods of feeling low and feeling sad, and that is so normal. But I can honestly say, like, during that worst part, I have never, ever felt, and I never hope to feel like that again, because you're literally just surviving, like, hour by hour.
Was you at any point in that time looking at yourself and your own health, your mind well-being?
Yeah, massively. I mean, I absolutely love animals, and I was doing everything I could to try and bring myself around. I even started borrowing someone's dog, you know, just to give me something to like focus on. And that was a big part of things that I explored with my life coach at the time. Like, what's your happiness? Like, what is it?
Yeah.
What brings you that? And that those conversations really helped me to find me as I am now, I think, because it was never anything that I thought it was. It was never the career and the really good salary and the big brand new house and all of that. The dream that I had been chasing for years, it wasn't it. And that was like a big, massive light bulb moment for me to think, I am going to almost just tear this life apart and start again and find me as a person and what does bring me happiness and chase my dreams that are not based on material things and finance. And property is finance, but the reason I'm doing it is not because I want to be a millionaire. I mean, if that just happens to happen on the side, then fantastic, I won't moan. But it's because I want to do something I'm passionate about, something I enjoy, something that hopefully at the end of it I can also help other people with, and just be free and do what I want to do that brings me happiness.
Let's bring it back to the car.
Yeah.
Your mum's literally just on the phone.
Yep.
And she said, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
How does it make you feel?
Nice. Good, because I know that I know that I've done the right thing, and I got that validation in that moment when I walked out and thought, oh my God, what have I just done?
Was your armour still on, or had it come off at that point?
Oh, it had come off. And it was such a freeing moment, I'll be honest. It was like...
Right, so are we still in the car? We've left the job.
Yeah,
We know.
yeah.
What do we do? How do we change from I've just left the job,
Yeah.
zero money coming in, I've still got the house. Have you still got the house at this point?
So I've still got... No, so we sold the house.
Okay.
For a short period of time, I moved back to my mum's. And then now I've decided, and at the minute I live in rented because I've got equity then that I'm invested into my business.
Yeah.
So I've got 3 rent-to-rents by this point.
Okay.
So they are generating some cash flow in the background.
We've missed a little bit here.
We've missed a bit,
We need to jump back.
Yeah.
Okay, so
sorry.
before you've left
Yes.
the job, there must have been, without me putting words in your mouth, but there must have been some kind of epiphany moment. This life needs to be better.
Yeah, so basically around the... What year are we in now?
We're in 25 now.
Yes. 2 years ago, well, around 2 years ago was when my mental health was starting to plummet. That's when I started to think, what can I do?
Okay.
So I then looked at some of the online education and things. Between that
What were you Googling?
it was mainly in Instagram socials.
Can I say Googling? What were you searching for?
What were you
Because
searching?
not everyone's Googling today, are they? People are
No.
TikToking, they are ChatGPTing. What did you look for?
I just started following pages, following things on Instagram predominantly. Education. Looked at a few sort of free courses, free days, understood, just to kind of understand what the potential could be.
Potential of what?
A new venture. At that point, never a full-time career. or certainly not within the next, 5 years. But, what's the potential for me to start building something on the side?
What was building looking like? Was it specifically property at the time, or was it something different? Oh, so
always property.
Why? Why property?
Just because it was something that I had always wanted to do, but never, like I said before, it was something that maybe I would do in the future, have some projects on the side. I'd bought and moved house probably 3 times and, added value to them, and then bought another one and added value. And I enjoyed that process.
How did that make you feel?
Yeah, it was fantastic. When you move in house again, you're putting it up for sale, and you've not been there that long, and you've spent X and you've made a good amount of equity.
So were you doing this at the minute? Were you doing it on your own, or because you said you were getting married?
Yeah. So I had 2 houses on my own that I'd kind of moved from, and then moved into another, and then from that second house, the third one was bought together. But we also did add value to that as well, which was helpful. But yeah, I just enjoyed that process of it. So, and like I say, the homes under the hammer thing, buying at auction, all that stuff excited me. So I thought, how can I actually get into that?
So now we've gone from, we want to help people.
Yeah.
We've been for a bit of a traumatic experience, but really a reality check on, is this really what I thought it was?
Mm-hmm.
And now we're going to, is the armour off at this point? Are we a bit more vulnerable, or are we still guarded?
Probably guarded, because very few people, and even I think if my friends were to watch this back now, would actually ever know what I was going through at the time.
Why didn't you tell your friends?
It's not about telling people. It's just about probably is about telling people. Maybe not telling people, but I think.
Are we still in 2023 here?
Yeah, there's a difference between.
Wait there, let's go to the landscape. 2023.
Yes.
Are you now married?
No, I didn't get married.
You didn't get married?
Yes.
So something happened there. Was this...
That was part of me, and realising, what was making me happy and what wasn't.
Can we dig there?
Yeah, we can dig.
So we're going to come back to this then.
Yeah.
You've, at the point of telling Mum, I'm done, I'm out, was that before or after?
After.
So there's a lot more change before.
Yes.
We're going to come right back then.
Okay, so we'll go to 2023 then. And back end of 2023, this is where I actually got diagnosed with depression on my birthday. So November 2023, and...
What date?
7th.
Oh.
Well, my investment business is 7-Eleven.
Oh, really?
My birthday, yes.
Oh, well...
I know.
I'm going to not prematurely wish you a birthday, but we'll come to that.
Yes.
All right, okay, so...
So that was my progressively becoming my deepest, darkest times over that probably 3 to 4 month period. Thrown in the mix then, the early 2024, you're being made redundant, which was like great, because... Not great, that was very sarcastic, great, because actually, like, I felt I'm already now, excuse my French, on my arse. Thankfully, I'm still getting paid while I try and figure out myself, and survive. And that is literally how it felt. Just, it was full-blown survival mode at that point.
So is the wedding still on at this point?
The wedding is still on.
And when were you due to get married?
August 24.
So we're in the year of, we're about to get married.
Yes.
You've now been made redundant. You're still in a paid period, but you're in, procrastination mode?
No, so I went back to work after the Christmas. I went back to work in like the January, and then I got told about the redundancy a couple of weeks later.
Yeah.
And I thought, do you know what, actually... it was a massive internal restructure, so there were a lot of people in the same position, and it felt almost like, do you know what? I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. And this could be the making of me, just taking that step away instead of fighting for something that, well, what am I fighting for? Do you know what I mean? That was kind of my mindset started to turn. It's like, what am I fighting for? Because the past few months I've been fighting for my life.
So you were fighting for your life?
I was really, really struggling. Like, literally, like I say, every hour was just achieve something. Where's the tissues, Riot? For God's sake. I told you I would cry.
It's all right. It's all good.
So I thought, you know what, the stars have aligned. I'm going to take it. And I'm going to take the redundancy and I'm just going to do a bit of me and see what happens.
And what did that look like?
It looked like I went and bought a horse. So part of my journey of like finding myself again was to do things that made me happy, and animals was a big thing. So I started horse riding again and I absolutely loved it. And that was so much motivation for me to, one, it was increasing some fitness as well, but also it was just like,
you had some get up and go.
Yeah, I had purpose. I had something that needed me, and that kind of realigned my focus a little bit, which was really good.
So what happened with then the wedding?
So the wedding, I think ultimately, you know, being in a relationship with someone who is struggling like that can't be easy. And I just didn't get at that time what I needed from a supportive partner.
What was that?
Just understanding and patience. And that's all that you kind of need in that time, because I think I channel a lot of masculine energy. You know, I'm very on the ball. I'm very, in terms of running a household, I'll sort absolutely everything. I'll do all the finances. I'll do decorating, whatever. Like, I'm very just on it. And then all of a sudden, when you're not yourself and you're not on top form, you kind of, I heard a theory once, and it was like 80-20 rule. And I love that, because you know what? Not everybody's 100% all the time. And from a partner, if they've only got 20 to give today, then you need to
be the 80.
You bring the 80. And that became apparent that just wasn't there.
Okay. So how did that make you feel?
It made me feel, it was hurtful, you know, and...
Why?
It was hurtful because I almost expect people to sometimes feel or be how I would be. So then that's like, I kind of look back sometimes, I would never have not stepped up, or I would never have, but people are so different, and I have a very high level of emotional intelligence, and now I know that in partners in the future, that's something that I do require, because you can't change people, and I would never want to change people, but now I just understand a little bit more about me and what I need.
So that's really important, what you just said.
Yeah.
And the 80-20 rule, I think, is absolutely fantastic. I mean, I use that in some of my principles.
Mm-hmm.
But there was clearly an epiphany moment where this was it, you was done, you was out. There seems to be a pattern of big 180 shift here.
Yeah. I mean, I do make my mum laugh sometimes, because she's like, I've never known anybody, like, once they've set on something, like, you just do it. I don't know what the epiphany moment was, I'll be honest. But something just aligned where it was like...
I think we know what it was.
What?
I think there's a element, and the listeners will probably already be thinking this as well, and please listen to this back. But there definitely seems to be the adapted and natural styles being conflicted there. When when the armour plate's on, it's on. But that's an adapted style. When it's off, then you are you naturally.
Yes.
And there is the two difference. So I think when you're leaving your front door, you've probably been living a life, I don't want to say in fight or flight, but you've been living, perceived to be living with an armour plate on.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been some vulnerability moments, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And at some points that armour plate's come off, you've had some breakthroughs. I think it's evident that you've been definitely acting on those natural styles, and that's probably opened your eyes up to actually what you want, not what is good for your adapted style.
Yes. And I'm very in tune with that now, which is fantastic. Really, really good. And the pleasure I get from the smallest of things now is just
Celebrating
nice.
wins.
Yeah, it's just nice.
Yeah.
Just like,
But isn't that what life's all about?
yeah. And I missed that, I think, for, probably a good decade.
The absolute, big picture here is that anybody in the NHS does an incredible job, no matter if you're the cleaner, the porters or your surgeons
Absolutely,
or whatever it may well be. You're all playing an absolute vital part. And through those periods, what you went through, the intensity was insane. And again, the whole world really felt it, and again appreciated it. But that does have some negative effects on your mind well-being. Absolutely. But then equally, your natural drive. Who are you? Who's Yasmin?
I think that was COVID was difficult anyway for everybody. And at that point, I lived on my own as well. So I lived on my own and I was riddled with germs. So I didn't really see family because I didn't want to pass anything on. It was so much of the unknown at that point that made that period a lot more isolating. And actually, thankfully, I had the job I had because that was my norm. I was still going to work full time and seeing people and integrating with people. Had I have not had that, then it would have been very lonely.
Yeah, a lot of people dealt with it. I mean, listen, I employed quite a lot of people back then, and we definitely ended up having to reach out to them, going to their personal homes just to even knock on them to see if they're okay.
Yeah,
because communication stopped. A lot of people did genuinely struggle, and it was tough times. So yeah, there's obviously some gratitude there. But looking back, what were your learnings? What were your takeaway learnings from all that previous experience? Because you're no longer in those circles anymore. You're in completely different circles. What are your learnings?
What, from healthcare as a whole?
From a child going into university to being a strong, independent woman, Beyonce knocking it out the park, into...
Mama will laugh when she receives it.
Got into, we are helping pretty much anybody and everybody in the NHS. And now we're going to mental load, where clearly the organisation is so politically tied up with red tape. What's your learnings?
I think just know your limits and know yourself. And I think for anybody in any situation, not even career-wise, relationships, whatever, just be able to reflect back and understand why you started a journey. Because I think sometimes when you get in it and you're part way through, you maybe forget the reason why in the first place. And actually the reason I started that career was to, yes, be financially independent and be secure, but to do something that I loved and I was passionate about and that drove me every day, and all of that positive stuff and that sort of feeling of happiness and reward had gone. But I didn't realise that at the time until I started to step away from it and look back.
So if you could say anything to your future self, what would it be?
Just trust your gut, take the risk.
Right. Now, I'm going to ask you another question.
Yeah.
You had a guard up.
Yeah.
And you said earlier about being very wary about who you let in your life.
Yes.
But you've just said
Trust you go and take the risk.
Trust you go and take the risk.
Yeah.
Do you trust everybody you meet for the first time?
I do, because I like to live my life on allowing people to represent themselves. I try not to take on board, if I've heard anything, or I like to assess people myself. And I do believe, like, I will trust you until I've got a reason not to.
Yeah.
Because you never see both sides of the story. You never fully understand any circumstance or situation.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I love that. All right, so let's now move into what we're doing now, because you've literally pivoted. You're now doing something you absolutely love, and I can see that you're really thriving now. I know you're early in your journey.
Yes.
But go for it. Tell us what you're doing.
So, like I say, over the last 9 months, so like I said, I got a bit of education, started connecting with the right people, and then very quickly, back end of last year, got my first rent-to-rent in December that was sourced for me. Got my second rent-to-rent in January, my third rent-to-rent in March. So that created some really good cash flow. This week, I've actually just sold on my first one again, because that was in Wales, and logistically now I just want to focus on one area. But that's been really positive. There's been some learnings from it. There's been some great connections that I've made in terms of people within the serviced accommodation world and just property in general.
Yeah.
But they do generate a good amount of cash flow in the background. My largest property has been 100% occupied since April.
Oh, congratulations.
And will be until March.
Love that.
Yeah, which is amazing. And that was my first self-sourced property as well.
Love it.
So in terms of initial investment, that was the lowest, and it brings in the highest amount of net profit every month, which is amazing. So that's really good. That at the minute I just let sort of tick over and kind of building my pot now for my flip, along with some equity from my house, like I said. So I'm actively sourcing my first flip at the minute. I had a really good conversation last night with a couple of girls from auction house, so I think I might just put the big girl pants on and just get bidding at auction, to be honest.
Love that.
I've got my bridging broker ready, and I'm also having some really exciting conversations with private investors, which is fantastic. And then the last week I've launched my bespoke deal packaging business. So I want to do it a little bit differently. I want people to have a premium experience, and I want them to have a safe experience. So some deal sources that I've had contact with haven't necessarily been as genuine or true as I would have hoped, coming in with very little background in property. So I've already onboarded 3 investors in the last week. I'm not just sort of set to the South Yorkshire area. I'm going over to Nottingham this afternoon to view some properties there. But that service really is anything from just finding a property and making sure the numbers work to full project management, 100% hands off. So really excited for that. And ultimately, it just builds the pot, doesn't it? It builds the pot, It builds the connections, and it builds the knowledge. So I'm really excited about that.
So tell me a little bit about how you feel right now, right here, right now. How do you feel?
Just excited, like this whole thing. So when we arrived, we had a conversation about which kind of route do we want to go down.
Yeah.
And part of me wanted to say, let's just go down talking about the future.
Yeah.
But my own personal goal is to be real and raw and share my brand and my journey to build my business.
Yeah.
Just be true and authentic. So, yeah, I'm feeling apprehensive about listening to this back, I'll be honest. But in terms of where I am in my career, I've never felt as freed. I've never felt as excited. I've never felt as empowered. And I know I will succeed in it because that's who I am as a person. And it's just exciting.
So what does Mum think of you right now?
Mum thinks I'm nuts sometimes. She thinks I'm nuts sometimes. But do you know what? She's starting to get it, which is really exciting. When I first started the rent-to-rent, she was like, I don't really understand it. Is it even legal? Doesn't make sense. But the more I share with her, she's finally starting to get it. I mean, I would love for her to come on board and start sourcing some properties for me, but I don't think she's up for it.
Yeah. Is it fair to say, and take a moment before you answer this, because I kind of get it, but are you comfortable?
No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
So I tell everybody, get absolutely, like, from me, get comfortable being uncomfortable.
It's the only place you grow.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, even from going to my very first networking event to going to the Hard Hats to Heels, which I go to regularly now, and I went last night, every time I go in now, like, I want to find the people that know more than me. When I first started, I stood there and I thought, oh my God, I don't know anything. But actually, I can share my knowledge and help bring people along.
Absolutely.
But like, give me the person that knows more. Give me the person that's done this already, because I want to learn from them.
Yeah, I mean, Hayley, she's an absolute powerhouse,
I know.
And got a lot of respect and admiration for that woman. She's absolutely killing it, and the fact that she's brought this network together, and there's some absolutely incredible people coming together doing some incredible things, is really brilliant. And you're absolutely right. You only know what you know, but then equally, other people don't know what you know.
Yes.
And when you connect and get this conversation floating, obviously there's more to be shared, and there's some serious value add there. And I'm sure you've seen that now on your recent journey. Yeah,
definitely. I've seen that. And then also just like tips and tricks around sort of LinkedIn and building those wider connections, because property is everywhere.
Yeah.
And whether it is someone who's got one buy to let or someone who's got a multi-million-pound portfolio, a lot of people are into property in some way, shape or form, or have a desire to be.
Pretty much everybody who walks this earth, really, because if there's a roof over your head, you're in property. Don't matter if you work in a building, it's in a property. So you're absolutely right. Everybody's linked into property some way, somehow.
Exactly. So it's just exciting. And I now know I know I'm on the right track. I've planned out my 5-year strategy, but it might flex slightly, which is fine. But I'm just excited. And if me 12 months ago would have said, October 2025, this is where you're going to be, sat on your podcast, like talking about property, I would have just thought, shut up. Like.
So what can you say to yourself right now?
That I think I've just outdone myself, to be honest. I think I'm really proud of myself. I've taken bigger risks than most people would ever take. And it's not easy, and it is scary sometimes, because like there's sometimes where I think, oh my God, like I've got financial commitments. Like, is this the right decision? Because obviously at the minute my focus is reinvesting everything as much as I can to build this business. But I just know it's the right thing. Like, there's no doubt in my mind at all that this is not the right path for me to be on.
You sat in that car, upset, the worst you've ever been. That's how you feel right now. What are you right now saying to that girl?
Can I swear?
You do you.
Fuck it. Literally, just do whatever you need to do to make yourself happy, basically. So you've got nothing to lose.
Don't hesitate, just act.
Yeah, just do it.
I love that. So let's wrap it up on what can we expect to see over the next sort of 5 years. You've got a plan. What does that look like? Who are you now helping? Because you're helping people in different ways, right? So what's going on?
So what I'm just doing naturally is I'm very open to anyone who is starting their property journey. If anybody wants to ask me any advice or any questions, especially around rent to rents, or if they're interested in that, then, I'll share any templates, contracts, etc. That's, just they can contact me on social media. So my strategy is at the moment, so I've got the cash flow to one side, fantastic. In the next 12 months, I want to flip 2 properties. So I want to flip 2, pull the cash out, and then the third I will retain. So then I'll do another flip, well, BRR.
Yeah.
Probably a buy-to-let to start, but maybe a HMO. And then retain that one. And then go again. So in an ideal world, by the end of my 5 years, I will have flipped around 8 properties, maybe more, and I will have retained 7. And that 7 is a combination of buy-to-lets and HMOs. And at the end of 5 years, then I would really like to look at commercial. However, I am doing some training very soon next year, which I'm really excited about, on title splitting.
Excellent.
So the commercial or the sort of bigger blocks of property might come sooner. But for the minute, that I want to help bolster my deal packaging, because they're very complex deals, and the people that may be interested in that might not understand how it works. So if I can package up those really complex tile splitting deals, then I'm going to build my wealth a lot quicker to invest into flips to build more assets.
I absolutely love that. You know, for me, it's really obvious where you've pivoted, and just sat looking at you now. You know, you look like a really bundle of joy. It's nice to see you smile, given what you've been through. That's quite a traumatic experience.
Yeah.
But I think we've learnt a lot about Yasmin today, haven't we?
Yeah. And the first thing I did when I left fully in July was go and buy a dog. And he's my little mate.
What dog?
He's a cockapoo.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
They're really nice little fluffy things, aren't they?
He's very fluffy. Yeah.
Well, listen, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. I'm sure you'll get a few comments. But yeah, listen, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.